I am a disabled veteran, currently unemployed due to the ongoing pandemic. While my wife worked outside of the home, I was forced to stay at home with our son, who was born just before the chaos of COVID descended upon us. He is now 1 year old. During this time, I took on all household duties without complaint. From cooking and cleaning to doing laundry, I was determined to do everything necessary for our family's well-being. I also cared for our 2 children, ages 9 and 1, ensuring their virtual schooling went smoothly and meals were always prepared. My former partner and I both had troubled childhoods, so we made a pact to be the parents we needed when we were growing up. However, things took a turn when she revealed that she no longer loved me and had only had our last child in hopes that it would reignite something between us. As she started working more hours to support our family financially during the pandemic, she soon began seeing someone else. By April, I had a strong feeling of her infidelity, and by my birthday in May, I knew for sure. On that day, she didn't even hug me. Now, my children and I are living at my mother's house while my ex has moved in with her new boyfriend. It has been almost a month since we've been here. My daughter wants nothing to do with her mother. My son doesn't even ask for milk or seem to care when she leaves. They have seemingly moved on from the initial loss of their family unit, but for me, it still feels like a constant struggle. It's like walking with someone and telling them a story, only to turn and realize they're no longer there, except on an amplified level of pain and abandonment. 14 years of investment and effort wasted. Despite my heartache, I continue to focus on my children and push forward. I have taken the opportunity to work on myself and have even achieved a personal goal of losing weight, finally reaching under 200 pounds for the first time in years. My motivation comes from being the best father possible for my kids. Thank you all for allowing me this space to share and vent. Update number 1. 2 months ago, on what I now refer to as my D-Day, my wife abruptly left me and our children behind. She had chosen to run off with a co-worker, leaving us all in shock and disbelief. Plans for a separation agreement and obtaining legal counsel quickly fell through due to the high costs involved. In an effort to heal and move forward, I began seeking counseling for both myself and my daughter. As we prepare for the start of the new school year, I have been working with her on reading and math workbooks to ease her transition back into full-time education. Despite the pain and turmoil that we have faced, I am determined to do whatever it takes to ensure the well-being of my family. A constant battle rages within me, tearing at my emotions and leaving me drained. My soon-to-be ex is currently in a mental hospital, and the situation with her affair partner seems to have fallen apart. Now she wants to be more involved in our children's lives. While this was my initial wish, I am now unsure if it's truly the best decision. She has repeatedly broken promises to our daughter and had chosen an affair over her own 9 and 1-year-old children. So how can I trust her to do right by them now at ages 10 and 2? A part of me wants to rush and support her through this difficult time, but I have been practicing strict no contact and trying to heal from all that has happened. Of course, I want her to get better for the sake of our kids, but including myself in the process may cause more harm than good. So am I selfish or wrong for wanting to keep my distance from someone who has hurt me deeply? Update number 2. Feeling a surge of anger and betrayal, I clicked on my ex's affair partner's Facebook profile, only to see that he had tried to follow me. My heart raced as I quickly took a screenshot to document his attempt to infiltrate my social media. Without hesitation, I blocked him, hoping it would be enough to keep him away from me. My emotions overwhelmed me, and I broke my self-imposed no-contact rule to inform my ex of what had happened. However, her reaction was nonchalant, as if it wasn't her responsibility to handle the situation. Though I wasn't expecting her to defend me, I had hoped she would at least stand up for our past relationship and shut him down. Instead, she went off on a tangent about how she was trying to get better for the sake of our kids. The hurt and frustration bubbled within me, knowing that she didn't understand the gravity of the situation and how much it affected me. Battling my emotions, I constantly remind myself never to drift back to the past. It's been a month since I cut off all communication with my ex-partner, and I was doing so well. But then, something triggered me, and now my heart is heavy with frustration and resentment. Despite my anger towards my ex, I couldn't care less about their attempts to keep tabs on me through mutual friends. It's the aftermath of our breakup that weighs on me heavily, like a time bomb waiting to explode at any moment, hindering my progress in moving on. My chest tightens with every thought of this woman who I once believed would be by my side forever, and though it goes against my nature, I find myself cursing her. I find myself cursing her every time she crosses my mind. As much as I try to suppress it, the intense hate and anger towards her lingers within me. The hardest part is putting on a facade of being okay with her in front of our children. They innocently bring her up at times, and it takes all my willpower not to speak ill of her in their presence. I remain neutral, but inside I am seething with unresolved emotions towards my ex. The affair partner's actions here will not sway me. Despite already taking my wife, I refuse to let them take my emotional stability as well. The air around us is tense and charged with negative energy as we stand face to face. But even in the midst of this turmoil, I cannot help but think about how affair partner and their accomplices are not good people. They have caused so much pain and destruction, and I can't shake the feeling that they will never truly leave us alone. My heart aches for my children, who have been caught in the crossfire of this toxic situation. I long for the day when we can finally be free from the chaos and manipulation of affair partner's presence in our lives. Update number 3. It has been some time since I've been fully present here, as the day-to-day demands of life have been taking up most of my attention. My daughter and I have started a tradition of anime nights during the weekends, while my son and I take daily walks together while his sister is at school. Being a father to my children is one of the greatest joys in my life. However, when it comes to things for myself, I feel like there is nothing there. My days are consumed with working out and therapy sessions with my counselor as I try to heal from my PTSD, while also navigating single parenthood. But no matter how hard I try to focus on healing and moving forward, my mind always seems to wander back to thoughts about my ex-partner. The pain of feeling used and unvalued lingers within me. As she climbed the ranks in her company, I was there every step of the way, preparing her uniform, supporting her long hours, and even giving her foot massages when she came home exhausted. Now I can't help but feel dirty and worthless, despite all that I did for us. Does anyone else experience this? And if so, how do you cope? While kickboxing and exercise have brought some relief, it still feels like only a small fraction of what I truly need to heal. In an attempt to move forward, I recently signed up for Match. Calm, though deep down I know I'm not quite ready for a new relationship yet, but perhaps putting myself out there will help me regain some sense of confidence and worthiness. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. Healing from infidelity is a difficult journey, but we are all strong and resilient, and I believe we will get through it together. Update number 4. The month was May, a time when spring blooms were in full display, but for me, it was also the time when my life took a sudden turn. My ex-girlfriend, the mother of my daughter, had reached out to me and revealed her suicidal thoughts. This came after months of silence from our daughter, who had refused to speak to her mother. The weight of guilt and concern weighed heavily on me as I tried to navigate this delicate situation. But things only got more complicated when a sheriff's deputy called and informed me that my wife was not allowed to own a firearm, and I needed to turn hers in. As I grappled with this information, I couldn't help but wonder if there was still hope for us to reconcile. Was I naive to entertain this idea? Despite the turmoil and confusion, I unblocked her number and we began texting again. It felt like stepping into a minefield, unsure of what each message would bring, but I couldn't ignore someone who had expressed such desperation and pain. Our conversations continued, filled with tension and uncertainty, yet still tinged with the love that once bound us together. My mind swirls with conflicting thoughts as I try to make sense of the situation. My ex-wife is using our children as an excuse to spend time with her boyfriend, but I can't trust her words. The possibility of taking her back has crossed my mind, but only if she agrees to continue with the divorce and relinquish all custody rights. As we wait for our court date, I can't help but feel that my ex knows she won't fare well in the proceedings. She claims that her family has cut off contact with her, yet I still have a relationship with many of them. She also wants to leave her job where she met her new beau, and I pray that she considers finding employment closer to home. Our evening was spent at a drive-in movie with our kids, during which our daughter's therapist revealed her fear of self-harm. This news made me act quickly. Both my ex and my daughter were struggling, but after the movie, my daughter said, "This is the happiest I've been in a long time." Our youngest child, only 1 year old, was overjoyed to see his mother again. As for me, I'm simply numb from all the emotional turmoil. My experiences on Bumble have been mostly positive, but nothing too serious has come from it. There have been a few connections that I wish I could pursue more seriously, but most people aren't looking to be involved with someone who has 2 kids full-time. And the thought of introducing someone new into my daughter's life, only to potentially have her reject them and cause a breakup, is terrifying. Since our breakup, my life has been moving in a positive direction. I've started therapy and am making progress in regulating my diet. I even picked up Kung Fu as a new hobby. I am constantly growing and evolving as a person. But there's a part of me that still longs for my family to be whole again. My ex-girlfriend now goes to therapy and takes medication, which gives me hope for reconciliation. I would want us to also go to couples therapy together if we were to get back together, but everything is happening so fast, and I can't help but wonder if I'm being foolish for considering this. What if she's pregnant by this other guy and just wants me to raise his child? It's hard to make sense of all these thoughts swirling in my mind. Any advice or perspective would be greatly appreciated. Update number 5. Every word that you fellow readers have shared has been etched into my heart. Your perspectives and understanding of trauma bring me comfort and solace. However, my wayward spouse is manipulating me into getting back together, a lesson I learned through my interactions on this forum. She claimed to have tried taking her own life 3 times since our separation, causing me great concern and worry. She reveals that she attends therapy 3 times a week, 1 individual session and 2 group sessions, as well as being on medication. Though I have not spoken with her therapist directly, I can only presume she is struggling with depression and codependency. In addition, she says she plans on leaving her job. Desperately seeking to rebuild our family unit, she expresses her desire to find a place nearby so she can spend more time with our children. The longing for the family we once were weighs heavy on her heart. In my previous post, I mentioned taking the kids out for a drive-in movie. Since then, she has visited our home a few times, bringing joy to our daughter, who misses her dearly. Sadly, it seems that the school therapist believes our daughter may be at risk for self-harm due to abandonment, issues stemming from her mother's absence in her life. On a brighter note, even our son beams with happiness at his mother's visits. The absence of her presence weighs heavily on my heart, a constant ache that I can't seem to shake off. Our family unit is broken, shattered into fragments that will never fit back together perfectly again. It's been this way ever since she turned 18 and our relationship shifted from adoration to something more practical and mundane. She used to be obsessed with me, and I miss that fervent love she once had for me. But now she asks to take me out on a date, a small gesture towards reconciliation. My mind tells me I'm not ready, but my heart longs for the familiar closeness we once shared, yet I know I must tread carefully. Swearing on my children and my own integrity, I refuse to be tricked into raising another man's child. If we do reconcile, it will only be under the condition that I get full custody of our kids. That thought consumes me now, the desire to protect them above all else. In the midst of all this turmoil, I still keep up with my dating apps. It's almost like a coping mechanism, a way to distract myself from the pain and uncertainty. Yesterday, I matched with a 22-year-old, a small ego boost in the face of everything else that's happening in my life. Despite all this, I can't help but hold on to hope for our reconciliation, but deep down, I know the statistics are against us. When she tells me she's been miserable since our separation, all I can think is how could she have been so cold-hearted when she was cheating on me and abandoning our family for her affair partner. In moments like these, I try to channel my father's calm and rational approach to difficult situations, even though every fiber of my being wants to respond with anger and hurt. This is why I am considering giving her another chance, because despite everything, I still have a glimmer of hope that we can overcome this and rebuild our family. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. It means more than you know. Update number 6. I have returned seeking advice in a desperate situation. My attempts at reconciliation with my ex-wife were fruitless, and I feel like I was just being used as an excuse to visit our children. Throughout this whole process, she only visited a handful of times and never stayed for an extended period to take care of them. Naively, I held on to the hope that she could become the mother she once was to our 10-year-old, now with our 2-year-old, but the reality is she didn't feel like a mother at all. She seemed like someone who only felt guilty every once in a while and wanted to visit the life I had built. Now, I am in need of advice. Technically, we are not divorced yet. She filed for it last year in June, and I responded accordingly. However, no further action has been taken by the court since then. I have waited this long because in my state, after 1 year, the parent who leaves can be charged with abandonment. In my opinion, that is exactly what happened, and I am hoping that both a lawyer and a judge will see it the same way and grant me sole custody. My struggle lies in the fact that my ex is trying to better herself. She wants to visit the kids, or so she claims, specifically our son, but she has given up on trying to repair her relationship with our daughter. I know it will take time for her to truly change, but I cannot trust her actions or decisions which have nothing to do with our romantic relationship. Should I continue to wait for the court's decision? Or should I consult a lawyer and pursue a case for abandonment in order to gain sole custody of our children? If I choose to seek legal aid, it will be a scorched earth approach. I have been foolish for placing my trust in this woman for so long, but I hold on to the belief that there is good in everyone. A stumble and stray from one's path does not mean they are lost forever. Yet, I cannot ignore the possibility of generational trauma being passed down to our children through her actions. On the home front, things have been going well with my children. Through online counseling provided by my local vet center, I have found ways to manage my PTSD. Unfortunately, my daughter has been struggling immensely with recent events and has started seeing a counselor provided by her school. I check in with him regularly, finding solace in his updates on her progress. The abandonment she experienced at the hands of her mother has left her with depression and thoughts of self-harm, likely stemming from low self-worth. While I do what I can to support her, her counseling sessions seem to be making the most impact. My heart aches for my little boy, who still cries out for his mother at the tender age of 2. He may not fully understand why she is absent from our lives, but I tell him that she is busy at work when he asks. On the rare occasions she has visited, it takes time for him to warm up to her again, as if he senses the inconsistency in her presence. I worry about how this ongoing cycle of sporadic visitations will affect him in the future. Will he struggle with abandonment issues or aggressive behavior? To prepare for this, we spend our days reading, singing, playing, and learning new words together. Despite everything, my son remains a happy child. As for me, I am trying to focus on healing and caring for my children. I have dabbled with dating apps, but deep down I know I'm not ready for anything serious. My priority right now is taking care of myself and my kids. Being the sole custodial parent does come with its challenges. Financially, I won't receive any support from my ex, which would certainly make things easier. And then there's the fear that my son will one day resent me for keeping his mother away and not doing more to help her. But I have faith that in the end, everything will work out for the best. Despite all of the hardship and heartbreak, I am determined to become the best version of myself. It pains me that this vision does not involve my ex, but ultimately, I know that true happiness lies within myself. And I hold on to hope that one day I will find someone who loves me and my children wholeheartedly. Love is not dead, it just takes time to find,